Shalom Israel, first and foremost, I do thank you all praises, all honor and all glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Al-Shah B'Hashem Kakadash, the born the apostles, and great millstone for teaching his truth, peace, and blessings. To the whole collective of Shalom, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Hebrew, B'Hashem is the name, and Yahweh Shah is the name of the Megillah Son. Background lesson, and as in the title, these devils are getting ready to crack down. And gonna be going to this article right here, which you see in the background, and pushing the point of what this will ultimately lead up to. Because as you've been seeing these past couple of years, these devils have been alluding to something bigger and something worse than what took place back in 2020. You saw how bad that was. How many people lost their jobs, how many people lost, their own businesses, how many people were affected by it. How many people were frustrated over not being able to go out and live their so-called, normal life. And you saw how many people were, fiending and looking for a so-called solution. And in order for you to go out and live your so-called normal life, once again, it came at a price. You needed to take that juice. So now imagine what the devils are getting ready to do come to these last days, especially once they usher in that MOTB. Because you saw those restrictions, you saw those mandates that they implemented going back to 2020. Dealing with those lockdowns, checkpoints, even you have a green pass in order to travel and go on a plane. Now, even when it came to the masks, people were fined and jailed over not wearing them, man. And that was just a little test run, a little trial run for what these devils are really getting ready to do, man. And going back to town, these devils are getting ready to crack down. That's why you've been seeing these devils have been making moves. Because this devil most definitely has his hand in this as he did back then. Which is ultimately, through the spirit of Yahweh B'Hashem Shai, but he's putting the spirit on this devil to go out and do this. He's using Esau, Edom to cook up, this pestilence, man. As in Psalm 17:13. Hide me from the wicked, which is thy sword. And Yahweh B'Hashem Shai is swinging that sword. But let's read this quick article right here, and we'll read a little bit more into it. And again, we'll get a couple of scriptures, and Lord's lesson will be edifying and to the point. As is Pandemic 2.0, FDA to grant emergency use authorization to Bill Gates mRNA bird juice shots. And now you're going to have these devils, fear-mongering once again as they did back then, and how they urge and push for people to go out and take that juice. And how they push, celebrities to promote it and all that. And then we want you to do this, shot, just stay away far from that, to not take it. And look what happened. People were getting tore up from taking that thing, man. People even been taken out from it. And especially you have people that were even in this truth that went out and took it, man. Just go to show you don't fear the Lord, nor do you have faith, man. People weren't willing to, face losing their job. So if you failed the pop quiz, you ain't gonna pass the test, man. Which is also gonna be the implementation of the MOTB, that RFID hip, man. All roads lead to the MOTB. We're just going to go into those restrictions and those mandates. Because it's all going to lead up to you needing to take that charagma. Because all your information, everything about you is going to be on that hip, man. To especially show if you've taken that juice. Which this could be one way to do it. But you even saw a while back, just points that coming to mind. They implemented I believe it was like UV lights or something, black lights, to show if people have taken the juice. But you saw videos come out, people were recording their veins, and you can see how it kind of shined different under black light. So that could be one right there. But doing veer too far off topic, let's get right into it. The FDA has granted emergency use authorization for Bill Gates' experimental mRNA bird juice, as authorities warn that another, pestilence is about to sweep the globe, and they have been alluding to that. Now you're seeing the devils making moves. Because you even see things happening, dealing with the animals, which is also going to affect the food. You see things, dealing with chickens. You've seen cows being affected. But that's only to scarcity of food also. And you saw how barely people even, you saw how many people barely survived, back in 2020. People lost, their own family-owned business, how that affected them. People lost their jobs. Now imagine when these devils, do it another time, man. And it's gonna be a lot worse this time, you know, because it's gonna be the final one. Now, it says the American Medical Association made a few changes last week to its current procedural terminology system, described as the leading medical terminology code set for describing healthcare procedures and services. One significant is the creation of a new CPT code for I'm gonna say H5 and 8. I don't want to say some of these words because you know how double is when it comes to these certain topics. I think influenza is fine. I'm gonna say juice. Now, it says candidates that receive emergency use authorization from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Now, it says you may recall that during the Wuhan 19 pestilence, the FDA granted EUA to the lineup of injections unleashed through the Operation Warp Speed. And you also saw how fast they cooked up that damn juice, that concoction, man. They pushed it right out, you know? So what made you think that was going to be good for you, man? And people call us crazy for not wanting to take it. And look what happened. People are getting taken out from it, man. And that's judgment right there. I said, now for the first time since the 19, the medical establishment is readying itself for what appears to be the next it's a scam-demic. And I think bird flu is fine to say. But to go and show this devil is definitely, making moves. And government towers are getting ready to crack down because in these past couple months, a lot of articles have been popping up. People have been taken out from the bird flu and all that. It has been affecting the food, the animals. So now you're gonna have these devils maybe boosting up the numbers to fearmonger to get people on board with taking the juice and all that stuff. But ultimately, it's gonna lead up to these devils ushering lockdowns, restrictions, mandates once again. We know how this devil plays. As in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11. Now let's read a little bit more, and we'll get the scriptures. Don't make this too long. As to ensure that healthcare systems across the United States are up to date with the codes and electronic systems, yada yada yada. But that's the point right there. Let's jump up and get scriptures. This is Revelations 12 and 12. Go back to the title, and that's the therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that won them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, of the sea, for the devils come out to you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So they know they're running out of time. So I see them starting to rush to implement their plans and put them into action as fast as possible. Now you're starting to see people are starting to see this devil for who he really is. Now he's getting sloppy because he's rushing things. People are now starting to see through certain things he's doing, his snares that he has laying around. Because now he's getting caught red-handed, exposed for certain things he has been doing. Especially dealing with that Donald Trump situation. And you had a lot of people on the internet were saying how iffy and how weird it was, and people were diving a little bit deep into it and all that stuff. But don't want to go far too into that. Just want to bring up that point. How people are starting to pick up on what this devil is doing. But it says having great wrath, because knoweth that he hath but a short time. So very soon you're gonna have this devil just really bring that hammer down, implement these mandates, these restrictions, and really force people's hands. As you saw what they did back then. In certain jobs, you need to have that juice, man. To go on a plane and travel, you need to have a green pass to show proof of verification you have taken it and that you are negative. And I believe they even held checkpoints, which I believe I made an article. I believe it was when around Thanksgiving was taking place. They had checkpoints over there in New York or something where you need to show you've been tested or you're negative for exactly what it was. I believe they had checkpoints though. And all that's coming back. All that's returning, man. And very soon you're going to need to have the MOTB. What's in all roads lead to the MOTB. I also made get Revelation 13:16, but we'll see. Where the Spirit allows. 2 is 15:15 to 17. Which is the main point of verse 17, but it says, for the sword and the destruction draw 9, when people shall stand and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another shall not regard their kings, nor princes in the course of the act shall stand in their power. That's what you're all seeing as we speak, dealing with uproars, other people in the world, which in 2 9 and 1, I believe through the third or fourth verse, going into it. One more time, verse 16, for there should be sedition among men, which you can go to that word sedition, going into riot/rebellion. Y'all see with the situation with Donald Trump, and him really being used as a catalyst in order to bring about division, chaos and all that. As an invading war nation, never got their kings nor princes, dealing with people in authority, people in power. And of course, the action stand in the power, because you're not going to have many people be agreeing with what they're going to do. So you see a lot of people, getting sick and tired of Esau, Edom, the government. And so you're also going to have this devil crack down, to gain that control, order out of chaos. Verse 17, because you saw it once in year 2020. People wanted to go out and party and do things that they used to do, but it came at a price. You needed to take a certain something. That juice, that concoction, man. But let's jump to verse 17, you get the main point. This was a man shall desire to go into the city and shall not be able. He doesn't be shutting this place down. Those lockdowns are returning. We've been warning and telling you, this been probably how that these things were coming back. People called us crazy, they mocked, they scoffed. Even when we said certain things about that concoction, that juice that was being pushed out. And I made a recent lesson, going to the situation over there in Bangladesh. There's riots, I believe, taking place, and you had them implement a curfew to where if people broke it, there was a shoot on sight order. So now imagine what these devils are going to do coming to these last days. Because you're going to see a lot of people not liking the things that this devil is doing. And also another example over there in Shanghai, China, when these lockdowns were in place, you saw robot dogs patrolling the streets to make sure people weren't breaking curfew. So these are times that we are coming into what this devil is getting ready to do. There's a man's desire to go into cities to not be able. Lockdowns, restrictions, mandates, checkpoints are going to be held. Isaiah 10:1 is going to go into that. Or these decrees that they're going to be pushing out. It says, will unto them decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievances which they have prescribed. And once again, going back to the year 2020, saw people were being fined, jailed over not wearing the mask. People weren't able to enter businesses without having it. We're able to travel, go on a plane without it, or having that green pass, show proof of verification. Now, imagine when it comes to MOTB. Which is ultimately what this is all leading up to. Pretty much just, condition you for it. Get the NLT version. What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. And you're seeing it. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Let Satan should get vengeance, for we are not ignorant of his device. We see how this devil operates. We see what he's doing. And you're warning through the Spirit, pray Yahweh Shai to stay away from these things, to repent and to seek the Lord. Because that way, once again, Yahweh Shai is ultimately the one doing these things, man. Putting the spirit on these devils to go out to, cook up these things within the labs, deal with these pestilences. Because this devil most definitely, has his hand in this. As he did back then. 2 Ezra 15:11-12. Now it says, but I'll bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And he's nowhere in modern day Egypt. Speaking of America, aka Babylon the Great, which you get in Revelation, I believe, the 11th chapter. I believe the 11th chapter, if I'm correct, if not another one, but going to how America, aka Babylon the Great, especially Sodom and Egypt, so showing what we're speaking of. But I'll bring them a mighty hand and stretch arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before. And the Lord is smiting this place, man. What have you been seeing? Things regarding the bird flu have been taking place, affecting certain animals, even people, And it's going to show that this is, definitely the work of Esau, cooking up things within the lab, because usually you don't see these things that these certain diseases or illnesses that come from these animals affect humans. But now you have these devils with gene splicing, doing all sorts of things within these labs, and no reason why this devil needs to be taken out, man. But then smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. For the 12 Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation shall be smitten with the plague, and the punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. So the Lord judging this earth, man. 2 Ezra 16:37-39. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. But you're also going to see many problems obviously occur from this thing, and you're gonna have these devils swoop in like the so-called hero with the so-called solution. This is what they want: order out of chaos. They're gonna cause all sorts of problems, really forcing you to rely upon them. As behold, the plague draw nigh and are slack, as when a woman with a child night and bring forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains come past her womb, which pains with the child comes forth, they slack not a moment. So as we get closer to that deliverance, closer to the end of the devil's kingdom, you're going to see the increase of these birth pains, the plagues, the pestilences, the judgments. Going to show we're almost out of here. Verse 39, even so shall the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. There's no run from this thing. The only way out is through our Lord Yahweh Shah, in John 14:6. He's the way. Get a couple more, and that'll be on that. Psalm 17:13, which I brought up that point earlier. Yahweh Shem Shah is going to be swinging that sword, especially upon our people, man, which is Zechariah 13:8. And Yahweh is ready to destroy the wicked of our people, the 2/3. As well, I believe 1st or 2nd Peter, how the judgment must begin at the house of the Most High. But Psalm 17:13 says, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked. And who is the wicked speaker? If you get Job 9:24, how the world is into the hand of the wicked. Also jump into Genesis, the 27th chapter, the 39th to the 40th verse, going to Esau's blessing, which was the fatness of the earth, as well as the sword. So it's showing you who this is speaking of. As you in Malachi also, I believe the 1st chapter, the 4th verse, going to Esau literally being deemed and named the border of wickedness. Speaking of the so-called white man. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. The Lord is using these devils to do certain things. And that's why it's important to get right with Yahweh Shema Shai, to seek the Lord. Look at Psalm 64:2, and it says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. And we already went to who the wicked is speaking of. As it hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. I mean, look what all the things devils are doing, man. Especially what they're going to be using coming to these last days, because they're going to be having robot dogs, patrolling the streets. Even had a while back where, police officers have been given authorization to use killer robots. That was a literal article, man. Now you're seeing things they're doing, behind the scenes within these labs. The things that they're cooking up and then plan to, push out. Because once the devil's getting ready to crack down, the Ecclesiastes 5:7 make no terror, turn to the Lord and put off from day to day. And that's what you see many of our people are doing. They're putting off Yahweh Shema Shai. Make no tearing to turn to the Lord and putting off from day to day. Because all Jacob worried about is, so-called partying, so-called living it up, in that as in the days of Noah's spirit. And that's why you in the scriptures, I was going to realize far too late that the prophets were right. But you're going to have, people lining up to take this juice. People lining up to take the MOTB. We see where this thing is heading. What can, possibly occur from the situation dealing with this next big thing that they have been alluding to, these past couple of years. And usually when these devils tell you these things, they're pretty much just telling you what they're getting ready to do. And that's why you see articles coming out about the grid being shut down, and how these devils have been pointing the finger towards it being a solar flare or an EP attack from a different nation, and many other little excuses that they are planting so that when these things do happen, the finger's not pointed at them. Once in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 11, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. We see what the devil is playing at. And what this will especially, lead up to right here. Dealing with these restrictions and mandates that they will especially apply and push out. And how these lockdowns are coming back. And ultimately this all will lead to, the implementation of the MOTB, that total control. Which is what they want. With how everything about you will be on that charagma, on that C-hip. So you don't need a piece of paper to show you taking the juice and all that stuff. All you do is show your damn hand. Papa, all you've taken it. You took it at this place, at this time, at this hour. These type of things that was gonna be doing. Now it says, for such shall the wrath of the Lord come forth, and thy securities, just when you think you're protected, just when you think you're safe, thou shalt be destroyed and perish in the day of vengeance. You will be destroyed. It's why it's important to get right with the Yahweh Shema Shai as we speak. You know, trying to push that spirit of urgency, man, because many of our people don't fear the Lord. And that's why many of you are learning the hard way to fear Yahweh Shema Shai. And why the Lord's going to be using Esau, Edom, in order to tear up a lot of our people, man, especially dealing with things they're cooking up within these damn labs. You know? That's really on there right there. You know, Lord was edifying. It's like I kind of rambled on certain points, but Lord will get the point across. I do include and give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh Shema Shai, Bashem Kadash, the one of the apostles, and also great millstone for teaching us this truth, peace and blessings to the whole collective of Israel. Shalom. See you next one.